Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go to Class Notebook. You're going to sign in. You're going to use your campus email and password. And then it should actually just take you directly to your lab notebook. Give me a second to get to where we should be.
Dr. Henry, will this work in Safari? Do you know the lab?
The lab actually works best in Chrome and in Firefox. It crashes in Safari. Okay. So I have, my personal computer is a Mac. My work computer is a PC. And so every time that I try to use Safari for it, it always crashes at the same point. So there's something wrong with it.
Okay.
So
Dr. Henry,
and this is just so that you guys know, Monday and Tuesday's lectures are going to be the same. Wednesday and Thursday lectures are going to be the same. Now, when I say the same, they're not going to be exactly the same. It's going to be a remix. It's going to be the same material covered. It's going to be slightly, because I like to give a little bit of variety, you know, but it's just a little bit. It's nothing, you won't get anything different from the big concept from each day. Instead of saying sucrose, I may have us use galactose or lactose, you know? So those will be minor differences, right? Conceptually, it's exactly the same. Does that answer your question, Cindy? Cynthia, sorry.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so were you able to do that, Preston? Did you get to this point?
Yeah, so I'm on, yeah.
Yep, so I see you, right? So if you click onto your name, open it up, it should open up into four tabs, 4 different colored tabs. You should have handouts, group project, class notebooks, and lab notebook. Under your lab notebook, if you click onto that, the very first thing that you should have for your lab notebook is your table of contents. If you go up to your content library, which should be above your name, and click onto it where it says Chem 1A Lab, click onto that. It's going to give you the guidelines and the rubric for your lab notebook. It'll tell you how you need to set up your lab notebook and how you should be filling out your lab reports. Excuse me. So your table of contents should look like this. It should be a table with 4 columns and a whole bunch of rows. You're going to do about 20-ish labs or so. So I'd say at least 10 to start us off. You can add more as we go. And then you're going to have it broken up into lab number, lab title, grade, and comments. Okay, so I'm going to put my comments here in addition to the grade that you're going to get in my grade book. That should follow up the grade that you get here. I'm also going to tell you what you did wrong so you can get that lab correct for the next time. So you can get the next one done correctly. Okay? Questions?
So you want us to set that up? You want us to set that up on our first page and just fill out the lab number and the lab title, and then you do the rest?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So that's going to be your very first page. And then you're going to add a page, right? And then that's going to be where you're going to put your very first lab. Let's say your very first lab is spectroscopy. So you're going to type in just spectroscopy lab. And then you're going to go ahead and fill out the lab report for that. Okay? And this is the guidelines for the lab report. You'll notice it's worth 100 points total. Okay? It's broken up. You'll get 2 points for your title, your purpose, your hypothesis, your materials, your procedures, your data and observations. Data is raw data. It's what you're writing down, stuff that you're collecting. And observations are just that, things that you observe. Oh, it turned pink, it turned green. Your data and observations, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be there, present. And I know that some of you guys will take pictures and stuff like that. Just throw them in there. Take those pictures. I'm very much a visual person, just like you guys. Are you guys not visual people? Who don't like pretty pictures? That's what I'm asking.
I love pretty pictures.
Okay, good. So in that context, share those pretty pictures that you guys are getting, or share that video of, of it turning hot pink to orange. It adds value to your lab notebook. It makes it more interesting, right? And it makes it easier for me to grade. Results are when you do those calculations, when you organize the data into tables, okay? So that's gonna be your results. And your results have to be explained. Tell me what's going on, what's happening. Data, you don't have to give me anything else, just provide that. The data is mainly for you so that you'll be able to write the results and the conclusion, okay? So there's a results and calculation section, and then there's the conclusion. The conclusion is basically summarize everything that you've done very briefly, right? It's answering the specific questions for the lab. It's also clarifying, clearly stating any unknowns that you had to identify. And you should make sure to tell me, this is unknown number such and such, and we believe it is this chemical. Because part of it is kind of like detective work. You're gonna be given unknowns, and you're gonna have to be able to identify what those unknowns are, okay? You also wanna tell me if your hypothesis, because you have a belief of what was gonna happen in the very beginning. Was it right or was it wrong? And if so, if it was right, it was right because, obviously I did the right things. Was it wrong? Well, it could be wrong because I screwed up somewhere, or it could be wrong because it gave me the complete opposite reaction because this chemical reacts with this chemical first and it didn't react with this chemical, but I thought it was gonna do that. So just some explanation. And again, it doesn't have to be a novel. As a scientist, I believe in being brief, right? Brevity is a beautiful art to have. Being able to say something without having to give me 80 pages to say, oh, it was green, So just tell me it was green and why it was green, Okay? The last thing that I want to remind you of is that when you're doing these labs, and let's say you do them independently, if you do them independently, right? Let's say you don't come to the Zoom session, then you have to give me a video or a link, you have to give me a link to a video or a link to images of you doing those labs. It has to be a collage of images if you're not gonna give a video. So it has to be like the first, the middle, the end. At least, it has to be at least 4 images of you doing that lab. And if I happen to find out that they're the same images, which I always end up finding out in the end, then I'm gonna deduct points from you, okay? In addition to giving you a 0 for that part. So that link is 50 points. So just by putting that link in there, that gives you 50 points to that lab already, okay? You guys get that?
Is that only if you do it by yourself, or do you do
That's
it?
only if you do it by yourself. If you do it with me in Zoom, just tell me the date that you did it. So then I can go back to that Zoom meeting, right? And I can see that you were there and you had your camera on, and I see you doing the lab. And your camera has to be on under those circumstances, okay? Even if you drop out a few times, come back on so that I have those images of you coming in and out. And then I also have record of you coming in and out, okay?
Okay.
Dr. Henry?
Yep.
I just finished a simulation. Is it only the one we have to do?
Yep, it's only that very first one. Did it work well for you?
Yeah, I did. I couldn't figure out in the beginning how to move my screen, and then I realized that you have to like click and drag it, but that was the only thing that was a problem.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, that's it. I just want to get you guys introduced to it. Next week, we're really going to start getting into the labs, either the simulations, and then hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks, you guys will have your kits.
Okay.
So then I will see you next week.
Yes, probably Tuesday evening.
Okay, sounds good.
Alrighty. Bye.
Okay.
Good luck, guys.
Bye.
Any other questions? So did I answer your problem? Did I solve your problem, Preston?
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out how to draw the box.
So, good question. So the way you would draw the box is you go to insert, right? Well, after you put in your title, you go to insert, you click table, and then we're going to make this a 4x8, and then you put the information in. And the table can be adjusted by what you put in.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And let's say you want to draw something. You can actually draw on it as well. And let's say you want to do some equations here. It'll pop up, it'll tell you how to go about it. Come on. And again, because I have so many things open, it's going to take it a while. So then it'll put the equation, or in this case, the graph that I was showing. Okay. Any other questions?